You're discriminating against this horse.
You said,
Unfairly.
what's that word you use? Legacy.
Yes.
What did he do?
I'm not going to have that Daylami had a far better record than Pilsudski.
No.
It's fact.
It can't be. Simon's going to get annoyed about this, isn't he?
I agree to disagree with you.
Happy with that?
Not really.
Welcome to the Coral-Eclipse Ultimate Ranking, celebrating Coral's 50 years of sponsoring one of the greatest races anywhere in the world. The Coral Racing Club members have chosen their top 10 renewals from the past 5 decades, and now it's the job of Simon Crisford, Johnny Murtagh, and myself to choose positions 10 to 3. We've got them down in a rough guide to what we believe is the order of 10. But there's already been some serious debate. So now what we're going to do is we're going to lock in from positions 3 to 10. So, Simon and Johnny, are you ready? I think we should start at the bottom and work our way up. Is that fair?
I think that's very fair.
Yes. Yep.
So shall we start with who is bottom of this list of 10?
Well, at the moment you've got Nathaniel, and I think that's where he belongs. What do you think, Johnny?
I think definitely. The first, from 10, 9 and 8, I'm pretty sure they're in the right order.
Yeah? I'd probably put So You Think at 10 and Nathaniel just ahead of him, personally, because I think it was a brilliant ride and I thought it's a better field behind Nathaniel than So You Think.
I don't know. So You Think had better overall data. The data with So You Think was much higher than Nathaniel. And for me, that sways him being
Beat the
ahead of
Derby
Nathaniel.
winner, and it was 6 lengths back to the third, so
Okay.
workforce, you know.
All right. I'm prepared to let you have that because I've got stronger views at the top end of the market.
Okay.
I don't
Thank you, Rishi.
concern myself too much with
Thank you for that
those
one.
at the bottom end.
Right.
So I'll let you have Nathaniel down in 10th. So you think in 9th, or do you want to swap that with Golden Horn, or is there something else that you...
No, I'd have them there. As I said, I like the 10, 9 and 8 where they are.
Simon, do you have any issues with 10, 9, 8?
No, and I think that's absolutely right. The bottom 3 are where they belong.
Okay. So we're happy with Nathaniel in 10th, So You Think in 9th, Golden Horn in 8th. There is no way I'm going to accept that Nashwan's in 7th.
No.
I agree.
Yeah. Right. Okay, so we all agree on that. Now, who are we going to put in 7th? Simon's going to get annoyed about this, isn't he?
I think Simon is going to get annoyed. Like, he's thinking maybe with his, he's ruling with his heart. He's got the blue colours in his mind.
I appreciate.
No.
Yeah. He has his blues, his blue colours on.
Yeah.
There's no way Delamy is 4 and Nashwan is 7.
I agree he shouldn't be 7.
Yeah.
But forget about Daylami for the moment. He was one of the greatest racehorses.
He was a great racer, but he didn't beat a great field, Simon.
It's not the point. The horse, that day he was very good, but he did improve. I agree.
Thank you.
But
But it's the day.
okay.
We're
but
talking
it's
about
not.
the day.
Let's
The
leave
day.
Daylami there for the moment. Nashwan should at least get into the top 4. I agree with that.
Yes.
So who's going to take his place? It's got to be Falbrev, surely.
I would say Daylami's Coral-Eclipse win was not as good as Falbrav's because Falbrav beat a better field. Daylami's race, there were 2 Group 1 winners behind him. Taipan was 1. And I think the other Group 1 winner... Whoa.
You're discriminating against this horse.
You said
Unfairly.
No.
We love grey horses.
Listen, he won the French Guineas for
Terrific.
His Highness the Aga Khan. He then moved to Godolphin. He was a world international champion. Not all of these are world international champions. He was one of them.
He was a world champion.
Pilsudski won the Japan Cup.
He was a world champion.
Breeders' Cup. Falbrav won
Yeah,
Hong
yeah.
Kong.
Well,
Should have won the Breeders' Cup, but
Yes.
not
Anyway,
Darragh Holland.
Should have won the Irish champion.
Should have won the Irish
I
Champion.
agree to disagree with you.
Okay, we're going to have to take a vote on this.
Okay.
That's the only way we can decide it.
Well, I think you're... Okay. But you can't move him from 4th to 7th.
that would be my choice.
You can move him from 4th to 5th or 6th. I'll accept that. But I'm not having 7th.
Johnny,
Because
You better have the vote.
in a race
Okay.
together on Coral-Eclipse Day, Daylami beats Pilsudski and Falbrev.
that's a hard call.
No,
You're
it's fact.
It can't be. It can't be fact.
It is if you look at their ratings.
Pilsudski beat
If you look at their international ratings, that is fact.
It's not just on the ratings, though, is it?
Well,
No, we said we were going to
It's
go
not
on
just
the
on the
opposition.
ratings. We're talking about
And,
opposition.
and what about, what's that word you use? Legacy.
Yes.
What did he do?
Well,
What did he do?
Okay, well, what did
Okay,
Pilsudski do? What
okay,
did
here's-
Falbrev do? What did Nashwan do? None of them turned out to be
Well, Nashwan side sway.
game
That wasn't
changers
terrible.
as far as
No,
stallions
true,
go.
true.
Okay.
Okay. Here's my thing. I would put Daylami in 6th. Okay?
I'll take that.
You take that? My thing, I'm going to put him in 6th. The one thing I'll say about Pilsudski's race is, as much as, and I do love Pilsudski, he was a mighty horse. The one thing I'd say about his race, Johnny, I don't know if you'd agree with me on this, is that his race was messy because maybe the best horse didn't win that renewal of the Coral-Eclipse. Maybe
I
Bossersham
agree.
should have won it. That's the only leeway I'm going to give. But I'm not going to put Daylami higher than 6th in this list.
Okay.
We're going to give him 6th, and we're going to move.
Pilsudski to 7th?
Pilsudski
reckon?
to 7th.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
And we'll put Falbrav
Hang on, let's work this out.
Okay.
So Pilsudski goes to 7th. Daylami goes to
Sixth.
5th.
Falbrev
5th,
into-
did you say?
6th.
Oh, okay, all right. He goes to 6th.
6th. Falbrav into 5th.
Yep, and that leaves Nashwan as a top
Nashwan
4.
into 4.
As a top 4 at
Okay.
the moment.
So, we're happy with 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. Daylami, Pilsudski, Golden Horn, So You Think, and Nathaniel. Happy with that?
Not really. But we'll take it. But we'll take it.
Johnny, I'm sensing a little bit of unease, unhappiness.
No, I get what you said. Maybe it was a bit messy, but when you look back on it, 2 furlongs out, everyone had a shot,
Yes.
and I'm not.
But if you're riding Bossersham and you've gone, I know you wouldn't have done what Kieran did. I hope Kieran's not watching this, but I know you wouldn't have done what Kieran did. And you've gone for that run up the inside rail, and the door's closed, and you're up against the Derby winner and a top class 1.5 horse in Pilsudski, and you've had to check back, as Simon said earlier when we were talking about it, and you've lost that momentum when they're all quickening. You know the game's over already.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Okay. I think I'll go with that. But if I was a jockey and my agent rang me up and says, Johnny, you can ride Pilsudski or Daylami in the Eclipse next week,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have to discuss too much with him.
Pilsudski?
Yeah.
Wow.
So
I mean-
Pilsudski started off as a handicapper. He came through the handicap program, ended up being a typical Sir Michael Stout improver, great international horse. Daylami has a far better profile than Pilsudski, Johnny. I'd ride Daylami, you can ride Pilsudski, and we'll put Rishi on Falbrev.
I must admit, I'm not going to have that Daylami had a far better record than Pilsudski.
No.
Daylami won the Breeders' Cup.
Yes,
Pilsudski won the Breeders' Cup.
yes.
Daylami won
A King George.
the King George. Pilsudski won a Japan Cup.
Yes.
Yeah. Pilsudski won an Irish champion. Daylami won an Irish champion.
Yes.
Pilsudski was second in the King George to Swain in bottomless ground.
Yes.
Yeah. Pilsudski was twice second in the
Well, hang on,
Arctic.
what did Daylami win? He won a French Guineas
Yeah.
over a mile.
Yeah, but
he
he's-
also won a Coral-Eclipse, as we've talked about. He had he'd be higher rated than Pilsudski. I don't know the official
Okay.
ratings, but I bet you.
I'm not going to
bet
let
you-
Pilsudski just go that simply. I mean, I feel like I've conceded, but Pilsudski's international record was something special.
Yeah, but
because
not
he
as
was-
good as Daylami.
It was as good as Daylami's. It was as good as
All right,
Daylami's.
all right, but you cannot put Daylami, keep demoting him. You just can't. You're discriminating
You're
against
still,
him.
you're still feeling
do you know what?
overhauling. You're
He's-
still
yeah,
feeling
he's the only
overhauling. He
grey.
was.
He's the only grey in the field.
Okay,
You've
so
got to keep him as a top 6.
Right, we'll keep him as a top 6.
Yeah,
Daylami
on that
as
basis.
6. And I feel like we've conceded with Pilsudski. Do you feel that?
I do.
In 7th?
I do. I
Okay.
do.
Well,
So-
does that
but-
mean you're going to discriminate against my next choice?
Okay. Falbrav in 5th? Or do we feel he needs to be higher?
No, I think 5th is fair comment.
Johnny? Falbrav, his Eclipse, Coral-Eclipse as good as Giant's Causeways? Coral-Eclipse, do we want that?
It was a good race, but I think the ride he got, the run he got in the race. Looking at this, I think he's in a good spot. There's only one more I'd change.
What would you want to change? So at the moment, we've got Giant's Causeway and Nashwan 3, 4, Falbrav 5th, and we know who's
I would put Nashwan 3 and Giant's Causeway 4.
We agree to agree, Johnny.
Wow, we all agree on that.
Okay.
We all agree on that, yes?
I just
I agree.
What's your reasoning?
the race. Again, the horses that were in the race, they were unbelievable horses in that race. The way he won it, turned into the straight, had 5 lengths to make up, on his pace, Willie Carson pumping him away, he won by 5. Like, he was a brilliant horse on that day.
Yeah.
And there's not many would have beaten him.
I don't know if you remember, but they billed that race in 1989, that Coral-Eclipse, as the race of the century.
Yes.
Because it was Indian Skimmer, because it was Warning, and because it was Nashwan.
Yeah.
And it sort of lived up to it.
It did?
Yep. Yep.
So,
I mean, no, you're right. Indian Skimmer, what a fantastic race mare. I mean, you know, as I said, this race took a lot out of Nashwan.
yeah.
There's no doubt about it. But, you know, that's what happens to champions. They serve enough punches, and you know it can leave its mark. And I think it did when he turned up at Ascot. As
someone who has to just gently prove to be devil's advocate, on Simon's point about how a race might take something out of you, yes, it took something out of Nashwan. Now you're saying we should move Nashwan into Giant's Causeway's position.
Yeah.
Yeah. Giant's Causeway, by this stage, had finished second in the Irish Guineas, second in the English Guineas, the King's Best, went to the St James's Palace Stakes, won at Royal Ascot, then come here, run a mighty race against Calanese, and then goes on to do what he did for the rest of the season.
Yes.
I'm going to just say maybe we should think about that.
I think that's a fair comment, but Nashwan, 2,000 guineas, Derby, you know, proper pedigree. I mean, what a fantastic racehorse.
And I suppose that's why the flashy ones kind of catch your eye a little bit more.
Yeah.
Okay.
The way he won it, like Giant's Causeway would never win like that because he always just won, and that's probably added to him being as successful for a long time.
Fair enough.
But if the two of them were in one race, who would you like to be on? Like if those two rocked up in one race, I know which one I'd like to be on, and it's Nashwan.
Agreed.
Agreed?
Yep.
Agreed. Okay. I wanted to give her a little bit of
No,
respect.
and I agree.
Yeah.
As you said, they have to
Great
rock
horse.
up every time, and he did.
Yeah, he's a
he rocked
wonderful
up
horse.
every day.
It actually hurts me to move horses up and down against you. As much as you might think so, Sean, just having Delamy, you know, where he is, because he was a great horse, don't get me wrong. And so it's...
Well, all of these,
They're
the whole
all-
package is,
they're all
wonderful
great.
racehorses.
I feel less worried about doing it to Nathaniel and So You Think than
Yeah,
to
yeah,
Delamy
I
and
agree.
Pilsudski.
Listen, as a trainer, if you had one of these horses in your lifetime,
that's it.
you'd be pretty happy.
That's what they
so
are.
like it is,
Yeah.
it is. We are just
That's
being,
what they
being
are,
a bit
Johnny.
unfair to some of them, but we're here
Okay.
They
to put
are-
the best of the best, and this is what I think we should
Right.
move.
So we're going to swap Giant's Causeway and Nashwan over. And so we now feel we've locked in positions 3 to 10 in the Coral-Eclipse of the past 5 decades. In third place, Nashwan in 1989. In fourth place in the year 2000, Giant's Causeway. In fifth place, 2003, Falbrav. In sixth place, 1998, Delamy Simon.
Not happy. Still not happy.
Bless him. The loyalty is magnificent. I'm not happy about Pilsudski in 7th from 1997. Nor are you, Johnny?
No.
Golden Horn, 2015 in 8th. So You Think, 2011 in 9th. And Nathaniel, brilliant ride from Buick against an excellent field, still in 10th. And we're happy with that.
We're happy with that.
Well-
I'm happy with that.
Well, we're all agreed. We accept it.
We're agreed, but not happy from Simon. This is magnificent. I've
Okay,
enjoyed that.
fine.
I enjoyed doing that so
Fine.
much. So positions 10 to 3 are now locked in. There are just 2 more positions to decide. Let us know whether you agree with what myself, Simon and Johnny have voted for 10 to 3.